In this episode of Gareth Jones on Speed, I'm driving to Wales. Yeah, I know that's not unusual, but this time I'm going to do it really quietly. Well, that is until that man shouts Gareth Jones on Speed. Hello, welcome to Gareth Jones on Speed and the silence of the Lexus. Perhaps I ought to turn the music off so you can hear just how quiet it is. Okay, I'm going to have to turn off the AC as well. You're probably hearing noise, which is just wind blowing across the mic from the air conditioning, or the truck alongside me, but otherwise it's very silent in this car that I'm in. It's a Lexus IS300H F Sport. The last IS300 I drove, I think, was probably 8 years ago, and that was the ISF, the 5-litre V8 monster car. It made a tremendous sound. If memory serves, I went up to North Wales and then Blackpool and back in it, and it took about 11 seconds, if memory serves. That was a phenomenal car.
In a quarter of a mile, keep right.
Yes, I'm going to keep right. You know, whenever you get in a new car, there's always a certain amount of coming to terms with how all the technology on board works. And this car's got an awful lot of technology on board, it being a Japanese car, it being a Lexus, of course. And one of the things I've been unable to do so far, and that is to turn off the guidance. I know to keep right, I know where I am. I'm by Fairholme Gardens, the traditional starting place for drives up to North Wales when I'm recording Gareth Jones on Speed. I always seem to pause here and pick up my microphone and start recording. This is the first opportunity I get to sit at traffic lights. Yeah, sitting still again, completely silent, because the IS300H is a hybrid, as I think every car you can buy in the Lexus range is anymore. They've done away with their diesel engines and they've done away with their non-hybrid cars. Every single car is a hybrid. So there it is, a peek into the future. You've heard me say this on the programme before, but before we all move over to EVs, which is going to happen, you think it won't, but it is, we will all move over to EVs. Might take another 30 years, might be 20 years, but we will all move over to EVs. But before we get to EVs, there's going to be a period where we all drive hybrids, because we're all a bit frightened of EVs at the moment. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I can't plug it in at home. Oh, range anxiety. Which is only partly justified, as you know from my experiences with EVs. They're getting better and better, and range is better and better. Yep, that little car in front slowed down when everybody else accelerated. Now, coming to terms with technology, I can't turn off the voice guidance, and I'm still learning how to use the new format Lexus indicators. Left-hand stalk, touch it once, it stays on and then comes off. Touch and hold for a second, it stays on until such time as you cancel. So it just requires a little bit of relearning, as every car does. I'm recording this show, by the way, a week after Le Mans. This time last week I was walking up and down the pit lane on the Friday before the race. I'd just driven to Le Mans in a range of extraordinary cars, as you know, that Caterham 7, the Ford Mustang and the Ranger. And this is about as far away from those cars as you can get. I was really impressed at just how cosseting and quiet this thing actually is when you get in it. It's all soft and light. To be honest, everything is soft and light after that Caterham, but having driven a Ranger, which is like a big fluffy armchair, and that Mustang, which is like a big leathery armchair being towed by 100-mile-per-hour elephants, then something that is BMW 3 Series sized and is largely very quiet and very light to touch doors seem to require just the slightest touch, and the steering is very light, and I would imagine I can probably change all that with the settings given a moment, but I haven't had much time to get to read the instruction booklet that comes with this car. Yes, sweetheart, I do know where I'm going. I've turned the sound down on the speaker, but you're still telling me where to go. I'll probably stop for fuel at some point and work that out, although I don't think I'm going to need to stop for fuel. One of the myriad displays in front of me here tells me that I've got something like 530 miles range in this car. Pretty good for a petrol car, pretty useful. No range anxiety with this baby, is there? And the journey I'm doing is consulting the sat nav, 232 miles to where I'm going today on the route that I'm going, and I chose the eco route. When you select the route on the sat nav, it asks you, do you want to go quickly? Do you want to go economically? Or do you want to go the shortest route? I chose the eco route because, hey, I'm an eco kind of guy. And unusually, I'm not actually in a hurry today. I'm usually in a hurry. You want to know where I'm going? Well, this is an exciting one for me. I'm going home to Wales. I'm always going home to Wales. But as often, I go home to Wales to work. And I'm hosting an event. You may remember last year I drove up to Wales in a Ford Focus RS with my son, Indy, to go and climb Snowdon to take part in a charity walk organised by my mate Mike Peters from The Alarm, and then to host a concert in the evening, a charity concert in Llanberis in North Wales. It was tremendous fun. However, this year, we're not climbing Snowdon together this year. We're just going for a walk, a 12-mile walk through Snowdonia. That's because a lot of rock and roll fans these days are in their 50s, some are in their 60s, and some of them find the climb up Snowdon a little bit hard. So to keep the numbers up, rather than make it a tough challenge, it's just going to be a nice 12-mile walk through Snowdonia. And the weather is phenomenal today, so it's going to be a nice one, this. Although Snowdonia has its own microclimate, it could well be raining or snowing when we get there. It won't be. However, I'm saying this is an exciting one because I'm hosting this gig, and if you follow me on Twitter, and if you don't follow me on Twitter, please do, Gareth Jones TV. You'll know when the new episodes of On Speed come out before anybody else, and find lots of other stuff that relates to the show that I tweet about. But if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I'm going up to host this event. Mike Peters is playing, lots of other great Welsh bands are playing, but the headline act is Slade. And if you listen to this programme even once before, you'll know that I'm one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Slade fan in the universe. And if you're a Slade fan, you'll know why I said universe. Yeah, a real privilege for me. So this is actually why I chose this car. It occurred to me that Slade, whose biggest hit, or one of their biggest hits, is Come On Feel the Noise. Of course, Merry Christmas Everybody is the biggest one. It would be appropriate if I made that journey in a very, very, very quiet car. So I scratched my head for about 30 seconds and realised that one of the quietest cars you can buy at the moment is a Lexus. Got in touch with Lexus and said, what have you got? Can I have something? And I said, oh yeah, IS300H. Quiet enough for you, Gareth? And we'll find out. Is this car as quiet as Slade, or the Noisy Boys, as we Slade fans sometimes call them, because they had a song called You Boys Make Big Noise, spelt with Z's, of course. Let's see if this car is every bit as quiet as Slade are noisy. What's it sound like? Oh, in heck, I just realised I am already doing something slightly over the national speed limit, and I hadn't noticed. That's how quiet this car is. CVs they give you that strange disconnection. Some people say disconnect, but I won't. It's a disconnection between what the engine is doing and what the rotational speed of the wheels is, and so you often get a thrashy engine, and that makes the car less refined. But I haven't noticed that yet, because of course the acceleration is assisted by an electric motor. I must look into the spec actually. I'll find out what the combined brake horsepower of the electric motor and the internal combustion engine is, and report back. Okay, that's the first section of the show. I'm now going to quietly slide my way to North Wales. Come on, feel no noise.
Say the corresponding contact number from the list, or say go back.
Go back.
First.
No, I didn't say first, I said go back.
Mobile. If this is correct, push the off hook switch to dial, or say dial.
I give up. I was attempting to program the voice command to call some of the regular numbers I'm going to need while I'm on this trip to North Wales, because I'm sat in traffic on the M1 at the moment, sat still. But it keeps saying third, first, when it gives you 3 selections, and I'm saying no, go back. Third, no. First, no, go back. Second, no. It's really struggling, which is unusual, because it's a quiet car. I'm sitting still. There's no background noise. So why is the technology in this car letting me down? I'm really surprised at that. Really surprised. There must be something bonkers going on. Maybe there's a wasp trapped in the microphone in the car. Where is the microphone, by the way? I think I've just seen it. Yeah. I think it's right up where the interior light is, you know, by the rearview mirror in the ceiling panel. Yeah, I'll try speaking more directly into that. Should we try again? Let's try again. Here we go. I'll press this button.
After the beep, say a shortcut menu command. Say help at any time for additional instructions.
Call Steve Allen.
Call Steve Miller.
No, not Steve Muller.
Corresponding contact number from the list.
Go back.
Or say go back.
Go back.
Go back.
Hooray, it understood.
After the beep, say a shortcut menu command. Say help at any time for additional instructions.
Call Steve Allen Jones.
Call Steve Jones. Say the corresponding contact number from the list, or say go back.
2.
Second. Steve Jones. Mobile. If this is correct, push the off hook switch to dial, or say dial. Otherwise, say
Dial.
from the list, such as first.
Dial.
Say go back. To cancel voice recognition, push and hold the talk switch.
Dial. Dial? Dial.
Dial.
Ah. It's calling. Hang on, we're going to go live to my mate Steve Allen. Steve plays keyboards in the On Speed band, by the way. If you came to 10 years On Speed, you would have heard his work.
Dear Gareth.
Dear Stephen. Hello.
I'm at my mother and father's, and we were just talking about you about 5 minutes ago.
Oh dear, do I owe them money or something?
I don't know. Do you still owe your money? Yes, the father's larger gap there between you thinking I'll get some money out of him.
It's always worth a try.
Yeah. But the slowness of reaction from your father's a baby laugh.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you coming to the gig tomorrow?
No.
Okay.
Chris spoke to me at the weekend. I was at a wedding, and I think he'd booked someone. I said I'd give him some money towards it, but I don't really have the time, to be honest with you.
Okay, I understand.
Well, let's put it this way, unless I magically find another sort of 2 or 3 hours tomorrow morning, I probably won't be able to get there. But you never know.
Okay.
But I don't think so.
Well, if I don't see you at the gig, I will see you over the weekend somehow. I'll stop by or something.
Okay, cool.
Yeah?
Just let us know what you're up to anyway. I should be around. What am I doing Sunday? Can't remember. I'll be around somewhere.
Cool. Kiss your mum and dad for me.
Oh, do I have to?
Well, you can shake hands politely with your dad.
What about my mother?
Big slobbery wet kiss from me.
Oh, alright then.
Ta-da!
See, ta-da now, hello.
Hello. Well, that sort of worked. There you go. We did manage to crack the voice control in the car. It wasn't quite as easy as you might have hoped, but we got there in the end, and that's the important thing. Gareth Jones on speed! I'm still sat still, try saying that with my lisp, on the bottom of the M1 heading north, and an ambulance just squeezed its way past us with the siren going, so I'm guessing there's an accident ahead, in which case I'm not so concerned about getting there quickly. I just want those people to be okay. That's a worry. And while I'm sitting here, is a little bit of spec on the car. I've got the paperwork, you see. It's the IS300H F Sport with premium nav. Insurance Group 30E, VED band 130 or VED band.
Stationary traffic.
No kidding, honey child. I know that. Yes.
Proceed on the current motorway. Attention. Stationary traffic.
Yes, love. Thank you. CO2 emissions. 107 grams per kilometre, which is pretty good. Benefit in kind, 18%. On the road price, 36,995 English pounds. Although, this one has got metallic paint at 610 quid and premium nav, £1,000. It's a lot for a nav, isn't it? £1,000. So the total on the road price is 38,605. I wonder how that compares with a BMW 3 Series or a Mercedes C-Class. What have we got? We've got a Mazda 6 alongside me, a Skoda Superb, two Skoda Superbs, nose to tail in the same colour. It's interesting. And what's that? A Mercedes GLA alongside me, so I can't lean out the window and say, "Oi mate, how much do you pay for your C-Class?" I'll look into that. Okay, the engines are 4-cylinder in line, you know that. 0 to 60, or 0 to 62 in fact, is 8.4 seconds, which is, handy enough, isn't it? Top speed, 125 of your Earth miles per hour. It's a 2.5 litre engine, so it's not a 3 litre, not a 2 litre, it's a 2,494. The transmission, though, is an electric CVT, as I said. Maximum power is 178 brake horsepower at 6,000 revs. The maximum power from the electric motor is 141 brake horsepower. So, can you add those together? Is that how it works? In theory, that makes it, 320 just about. Really? No. Really? No. Max torque, 221 newton meters. I nearly said nanometers there. At 4,200 revs per minute. Maximum torque is... that was from the internal combustion engine. From the electric motor, it's 300 newton meters. So in terms of consumption, combined 61.4, urban 60, extra urban 58.9. So very little difference between those three there, between 58 and 61. We'll see how we get on. Active sound control. Did you know, it says, you can adjust the volume of the active sound control using the dial to the right of the steering wheel. Active sound control relays an engine sound into the cabin using a dedicated speaker behind the audio unit. Really? Active sound. I shall investigate that. Drive modes. You can switch between driving mode using the selector switch behind the gear shift lever. That's actually a knob on the centre console. Eco, normal and sport. I'll explore that. Interior temperature control. To make small adjustments to the cabin temperature setting, you can simply touch the electrostatic switches as well as slide them up and down. I get it now. Okay, on the centre console on the dash, I thought they were braille controls. They're sort of slightly indented, embossed controls. Yeah, is that what that is? No, it's not doing anything. But if I touch the up and down of the temperature, that works. But what are those other buttons for? I feel I may have to do some more reading It's the trouble. I don't want to read, I want to drive. It should all be intuitive, shouldn't it? But hey, nothing wrong with doing your homework. Ooh, I've just seen a transporter with a load of Mercedes on it. Is that the new A-Series saloon? And what looks like an A-Series convertible. Didn't even know that existed. That's rather a good looking thing. Yeah, is that like a CLA convertible or something? Gosh, gonna have to do my homework. And bizarrely, it's also got a Hyundai Tucson on there. So whoever's delivering those cars, it's not Mercedes, it's dropping a Hyundai on the way. Okay, no real progress. So I'll read some more. I'm still sitting in the same position. Lexus full hybrids are engineered to run on power from their petrol engine and their electric motor, but they can also run on the electric power alone. That's what makes a full hybrid different from other mild hybrids. They're engineered so that they'll run as often as possible on electric power, so that you save fuel and exhaust emissions are reduced. You can see when a car's running on electricity. The green EV icon lights up in the instrument display. I'm not going to read all of this, I'll be here for weeks. Smooth acceleration also helps the car achieve the best possible efficiency. How about braking? I once was told that the best way to treat a hybrid is to slam the brakes on hard for maximum regenerative braking. But I don't know if that's actually true. I'm going to look into that. It's a good job I've got an interesting, quiet, pleasant environment to sit in, because this is a rather nasty bit of traffic unpleasantness. Oh my technology. We've started creeping forward slightly, but whilst I've been exploring this car's menu, multiple menu buttons on the steering wheel. Oh, excuse me, telephone. Hello, Chris.
Hiya, mate.
How are you?
Are you there yet?
No, I'm sat in miserable traffic at the bottom of the M1.
Attention.
Can you talk then on the phone?
I can, yes, I've got Bluetooth on speakerphone, it's alright.
We've got a caravan, so we'll see you there.
Fantastic!
Well, it was great, I tell you. I phoned them and it said, it's last minute, we're with the alarm entourage.
Yeah.
Spoke to the lady that owns the camp and she said, oh, no, we haven't got anything at all, it's all full. She said, let me check. She said, we've got one luxury caravan left, but we want to rent it for the weekend for 400 quid or something. But I saw more. I said, oh no, we only want it for one night. Oh, she says, well, okay, £300 then for the one night. So I said, I'll get back to you. I said, no, it's too expensive. Phoned Steve and Rob, and she said, well, are you with the alarm? I said, well, I'm not actually, no. Have you seen the film Vinyl? She said, oh, about 10 times. I said, well, I'm the drummer. She said, oh. She went, oh. I said, and one of the lads is the keyboard player with the alarm, and we're meeting Gaz Top from Howe then. Oh, she says, well, how much do you want to pay then? I said, oh, about 30 to 40 quid. She says, all right, then I'll give it to you for 120 between the three of you. £40 each. Fantastic, isn't it?
Well played.
So, yes, I was very proud of myself. Well, it's all true, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
There we are.
It's all true. So you're not doing the walk, are you? You're going to check into the hotel, what, around about 5 o'clock or something?
Might do the walk. What's that all about then? Where's that and when?
We meet up, I think it's out in Zip World, about 9:30 in the morning, and it's a 12-mile walk through Snowdonia tomorrow.
No, I'll see you at 5 o'clock then.
I thought you might say that.
No, we're not coming.
Attention. Stationary traffic.
Excuse me, we can't get there that early because I'm not driving. Rob's driving.
Right.
Steve might not come. He said he probably won't come. You've just spoken with him, haven't you?
Steve, yeah, I just called him and asked him if he was coming. He said he wasn't. He's got too much on.
Steve said he might change his mind in the morning. I don't know if he gets enough done tonight. So I'm hoping he comes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
There we are. So, well, I'll just pull you when we get there.
Yeah.
What time will you be back off the walk?
I think about 4, 5 o'clock, something like that. I've got to start emceeing, I think, about 5 o'clock. So I'll try and get back as quick as I can.
What time's the gig then?
I haven't got the information on me at the moment and I'm driving, but I think it starts quite early. There's a big lineup. I think it's possibly even 6 o'clock, something like that, maybe even 5:30. But I'll send you a text later when I've read my paperwork.
Yeah, all right then. And are you going to Sean's party next week?
I don't think I am. I've got to get this car back to London, otherwise I'd stay up. But I might pop in and see Sean on the way through tomorrow.
Well, she's booked me to play sax for it, so I'm doing a saxophone set.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, I wish I was coming. That would be brilliant.
Oh, they are. 2:45s and outside in the big garden, so...
Cool.
Yeah. I went up to see her the other day. I haven't seen her for years.
She's great, isn't she?
Oh, I love Sean, yeah, but I haven't seen her for such a long time.
Yeah.
It was funny. Parties used to go to there.
Yeah, I bet.
Younger.
What a place that is.
All right. And is there a party after the gig and all that?
I think there is. Back at the Ogwen What's It, yes.
Can you get us into that?
I would think so, yeah. I think if you're staying there, no problem.
Yeah, all right. It's me and Rob and probably Steve, if Steve turns up.
Cool. I look forward to seeing you there.
See you later, Gaz. Bye.
All right, Mucker. Ta-da.
See you. Bye.
Proceed on the current motorway.
Where was I? Oh, my trousers. I've discovered something in this car I have never encountered in a car before in my life. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of buttons on the 3-spoke steering wheel. And I was exploring them. One is the lane departure assist, alert, steering assist. So if I turn that on and use the radar controlled cruise, then there's a level of autonomy in this car, level 2 I think. But there's one button which is like a menu button. I pressed it, the most extraordinary thing happened. I'll do it again. Did you hear that? Listen. You hear that motor? What that sound is, a motor moving a bezel, physically moving a bezel behind the glass screen that covers the instrument binnacle. That huge major round bezel which everything is in, you know, your speed, your range, your car's charge status. Press that button and it physically slides to the right about, I don't know, a couple of thumbs length to reveal a whole set of menus digitally displayed on the left hand side. LDA, lane departure, PCS, speed warning, RSA, push to change settings. So I'm going to have to explore that. Okay, vehicle settings, meter settings. But I love the way, that's hilarious. That is a classic surprise and delight feature.
Stationary traffic.
Yeah, I know. And when you press it as well, there's a double thing that happens. As far as that bezel moving to the right, not only does that bezel move to the right, but the other digital element of the display slides away behind it, so you get this sort of compound movement. Absolutely fascinating, utterly pointless and brilliantly novel. I love it. There's a chap alongside me at the moment in a J registration Morris Minor Traveller, and it's immaculate. The wood looks completely brand new on it. It's got a picnic hamper basket in the boot, I can see, and it's in the most extraordinary colour. It's a sort of a, well, for want of a better word, sort of pooey mustard colour, somewhere between mustard and brown. And it's amazing. I wonder if that's an original correct period colour. I remember seeing Allegros in that colour. You can actually hear the car, listen. Yeah, he's rolled off ahead of me now. His lane's moving more quickly than me, because there's no noise from my car, being electric of course. I was also noticing the heat haze as we're sitting here. Tens of thousands of cars, probably, certainly thousands of cars. Huge levels of heat haze rising from the morass in front of me. And I'm sitting here slightly smugly thinking, oh well, at least my engine's not running, and I'm sitting in an electric mode, which is rather appropriate for 21st century driving, which doesn't really involve going quickly most of the time. And the lights just flashed. They're all saying 40 miles per hour over the motorway, but gosh, if I was doing half of that, I'd be happy. Oh, there goes another motorbike. Do feel sorry for motorcyclists when it's like this. Tricky weaving your way between people changing lanes at every possible opportunity. I hope they're being careful. I want to catch up with that Morris and ask him if that's the original colour or if he's nicked it from an Allegro. You probably know the colour I'm thinking of. If you look up an Allegro, the Mark 1, I think that was probably one of the launch colours. It'll be called something like diarrhea mustard, if Austin Rover had a sense of humour. Yeah, I can't work out. Is it green? Is it mustard? If I manage to roll up alongside him, I'm going to ask him. Excuse me, your Traveller's delicious.
Well, thank you. Very nice of you to say, mate.
Is that an original colour from that period?
It is, yes.
What's it called, that colour?
Oh, it's called lime flower.
Lime flower?
Yeah, the 1970s, 1972.
Well, I remember the Allegro being in that colour.
Yeah, that's right. It was about that time. The Allegro had it, so they thought, be modern with the Morris Minor, put that colour on these. It comes from the Allegro.
Fantastic. And that was my guess, and I'm very pleased I got it right. You've got brand new wood on everything. It's lovely.
Yes, it's a no mileage car. Only 83,000.
83,000? Yeah. It's fresh out the box.
Absolutely, yeah. Just running in.
You've warmed my day seeing that car. Thank you very much.
Lovely talking to you.
You too, sir. Enjoy.
Not too much longer, I hope.
No, we could be here for weeks, though, you know. But at least you won't put many more miles on it in the weeks that we're sitting here.
Yeah, this is true.
Ta-ra.
Take care, mate.
I don't know if you managed to hear that. I had to put the microphone down. Sorry about the beeping. That was the Lexus Park Assist because I pulled up very close to him so I could talk to him. So there you go. I was right. It was an Allegro colour. Marvellous. Crikey Moses. I just decided to do a bit of research about what's going on here because this is abnormal, this amount of disruption. And it says, according to trafficdelays.co.uk, the M1 northbound between junctions 6 and 9 status congested. Return to normal. Normal traffic conditions are expected between 16:30 and 16:45. It's now 15:40. And I've been here for at least an hour. Cause traffic collision delay. There are currently delays of 1.5 hours against expected traffic. 1.5 hours. Oh, there goes an ambulance the other way. Type of incident, moderate disruption between 15 minutes and 3 hours delay. Really, it's a very broad and accurate window. Between 15 minutes and 3 hours delay. Oh well, at least I'm in a nice environment. Lexus. Hello again. I'm still on the road, and if you listen carefully, you might be able to work out where I am. Listen. Score 800 points if you said, oh, you're on the elevated section of the M6 in Birmingham, the famous Birmingham bumps. Score a lot of points for that. Well done. Yeah, we did eventually get going.
Slow traffic.
Yeah, no kidding, honey, slow traffic, let me tell you. We did actually get going, and I decided not to stop at the first service station despite being busting for a wee, because I figured everyone else in that traffic pile would have been busting for a wee as well, and there would have been a huge queue to find somewhere to park, and then probably a queue for the toilet. So I pressed on till the next stop, and I think it was Newport Pagnell before I could have a wee. Oh, the relief, let me tell you. But this isn't Gareth Jones on public lavatories, it's Gareth Jones on private transport. You know, there's always something in a car that you don't get straight away. Do you remember with that Hyundai, I couldn't find the trip reset. On this IS300, the trip reset, no problem whatsoever. However, despite telling me that radar is ready and it has lane assistance, let me press the button again. Lane departure alerts turned on, steering assist active. I detect no steering assist from this car whatsoever. Seriously, nothing. If I took my hands off the wheel, it would drift over the white lines It doesn't even vibrate or beep to tell me that I'm getting close to the white line. Oh, hang on. It just did for the first time. Really? Okay, hands off, and what's going to happen? Let's see, I'm rolling. No, I'm just going to hit that Nissan Navara alongside me. Now, I can see from the graphic in the window that it's seen 2 white lines, but it's not acting on it. If it's a fault on this car, or it's been deactivated for some reason, or I'm misunderstanding how it operates. Bit weird, really. Bit weird. But do you know what I do like about this car? The myriad number of ways you have of accessing things. If I want to scroll through the music on my phone, which is what I'm streaming to the... oh, here we go. Look, if the traffic in front stops, this car does not stop. It beeps at you and you have to brake, otherwise you would hit the car in front. That's weird, because I remember that LS 600H I drove 10 years ago or more now. That would stop if the traffic stopped and then restart if the traffic restarted. This... it won't. You've got to restart the whole system if you come up against static traffic. Curious. Maybe it's a settings thing. Sorry, myriad ways of accessing things. If I want to move through the tracks on my phone, I can either do it with the top left hand. Sorry, the top left hand of the top left hand. There are 2-in-1 controls, top left. And if I choose the left hand one, I can scroll through my music. Also,
proceed on the current motor.
There are, yes, I know. Also, there are 2 sort of what appear to be volume knobs down by where the radio would normally be. The left-hand one allows me to scroll through tracks as well. There are many ways to do the same thing, it appears, which is kind of nice. The command control, I think that's what Lexus call it, where you have a sort of a joysticky thumbstick, I suppose is what it is, a flat-topped rectangular thumbstick down on the transmission tunnel. You can use that to scroll around all the menus on the digital screen, and it's a strange thing. You do get used to it, but it's very weird when you first get it. You think you're flying past each of the windows. It's a bit like a series of tabs. You know, if you hit tab on a computer, it goes to the next available window, next available window. It's more like that than a mouse. You know, you're scrolling between indents, and it works reasonably well, but you do have to adapt to it. But there's lots of other buttons as well. There's a big button that says map, which means that you don't have to scroll using the thumbstick to get the nav up. Bang, the nav comes up when you hit map. There's a big menu button, great, that takes you home. There's a big back button, yeah, that takes you home. All this is down on the transmission tunnel. But what I do really like is the up-down button that's alongside that, which is actually the zoom for the sat-nav. So it's really easy to zoom the sat-nav with a real button rather than having to navigate to an icon on a screen on your sat-nav. Yeah, that's really good. I'm all in favour of that. Lots and lots of buttons in this car. But, as far as I can tell, there isn't an icon on screen or one button which says...
attention, queuing traffic.
Stop that lady from telling you the obvious. Just stop. Then she tells me. There should be a speaker with a mute button somewhere on the screen that I could click on that would just tell her to shut up. I haven't found it. It's the thing that annoys me about this car. Nothing else annoys me. Yeah, nothing else annoys me. Oh, telephone call. Excuse me. Stephen, hello.
Hi, Gareth, how you doing?
I'm good, moving very, very slowly.
I was wondering where you were.
I'm nowhere near. I've been sat still for 2 hours. It's been horrible.
Oh,
yeah, the M1 was closed. So I'm not going to make it to your place before you go to Bangor.
Okay. Now, I was actually wondering if you had arrived in time. I'm making a vegetable curry. And actually, I'm following my leader making a beetroot curry.
Oh, excellent choice.
Mind you, I've never tried it yet. This is my first one.
Well, it's bound to be good.
But it sounds like it's for 2, not 3, though. Sorry, you're in a queue. I've had a few of those lately. You know, it took my brother and his partner, Alice, 5.5 hours to get from Bury the other week.
To get from where?
Because there was Bury, Manchester.
Really?
Yeah. They were sat most of them for 3 hours on the M62.
Oh, horrible.
It every now and again just gets you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, we're close to gridlock, aren't we? And it only takes a little thing to trip it into saturation.
It does. It takes almost nothing.
Yeah, almost nothing. Yeah, I agree. It's all right though, because I've got a very pleasant car that's removing some of the stress and a good sound system and AC, so I'm chilled. But I just don't want to be.
Are you in that little thing that you took to Milan?
No, I'm not in the Caterham. No, I'm in a Lexus IS300, a sort of a BMW 3 Series sized Lexus, and very nice it is too.
Oh, very good. Look forward to seeing it. I saw the photograph of the little tiny thing.
That was fantastic.
What did you call it?
A Caterham 7.
Right. So how much would one of those be if you'd bought one new?
It depends which model, which spec, but the one we had, I think, was about 50 grand.
Wow, goodness me. So how many people could fit in that?
Just two, and two relatively small people. Big people can't fit in it. Raf, who was with us on the trip, he's 6'4". He would fit in the passenger seat, but the footwell wasn't big enough for him to get his feet in. He couldn't drive it. I wish I was joining you for a curry, but unfortunately I can't. I've got to be in traffic.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yes.
And, so we're definitely coming on the walk. It's in for a penny, in for a pound. I hope they sing that one.
Yeah. Superb. Action sound. Oh, look around. Do you know what? I'm just passing Wolverhampton at the moment. On my right is Pook Hill, which is a local beauty spot in Wolverhampton that Slade wrote a song about. It's on Sladeist, I think. It was originally on Play It Loud, and there you go. I'm in a very Slade part of the world as we speak.
Are they from Wolverhampton?
Yes.
Well, look forward to tomorrow.
Yes, me too. Can't wait to see you.
It's going to be blistering for the walk. Yeah, the main thing's not going to be water, it's going to be sun cream.
Yeah, bring some sun cream, because I forgot to pack some.
You forgot some. Carol never goes anywhere without it, so you're right there.
Good. Da iawn chdi, ardderchog.
Good.
I'll see you in the bore.
Cheers. Well,
Will. Sorry about that, had to take that call. Yeah, I'm on the M6 on my way ultimately to a Slade. Oops. Yeah, I'm on the M6 on my way to ultimately a Slade gig, and at this very moment I'm passing Wolverhampton. Yeah, hallowed ground for me, just north of Birmingham. Wolverhampton for me is the Holy Land, as I'm a Slade fan. It's about time I did a song in the style of Slade for Gareth Jones on Speed, but the truth is I probably never will, because I just can't sing like Noddy Holder, because nobody in the world can sing like Noddy Holder, with the possible exception of, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the band, but they had a song that was called Put Your Hands On, Put Your Hands On, Put Your Hands... That one. I can't sing it because I'll have to pay copyright. I can't sing it. Or perhaps Bon Scott. He sounded a bit like Noddy Holder. But yeah, I can't sing like him. If you know anyone, by the way, who can really sing like Noddy Holder, put them in touch with me and I will write a song for Gareth Jones on Speed called something like Come On, Don't Feel the Noise, about driving a really quiet car. It's now 7:30 in the evening, 6 hours after I left London, or thereabouts, and I'm in North Wales, but I'm still not at my destination. Just passed through lovely Llangollen, which is delightful in the setting sun, and enhanced by some interesting cars. There's a Lotus Esprit, oh my god, flipping heck. Right, hang on, I've got to pull over. I've just passed a place, and there must be 50 Traction Avants parked. I can't get in there. There must be some Citroen rally in Llangollen. That was amazing. Oh, Zog would have actually passed out. He loves the Light 15, the traction Avant. There must have been more than 50 cars there, perhaps 100 cars. That was incredible. I was just doing some car spotting. Ahead is a Lotus Esprit S3, perhaps, in dark green. It's just in front of this Volkswagen camper that's obliterating my view at the moment. He's turning right. Can I see him? Oh, it's not green. It's a sort of a gunmetal colour, really. Yeah, beautiful. Don't see many of those around. And also, behind me, it's pulled off now though, was a very dark green, metallic green, Escort Cosworth. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, with those wheels, the proper Cosworth wheels. That's a great car to own if you live in the Dee Valley. You know, this is real rallying territory, and there's some great roads around here. Curiously, the sat-nav on this Lexus has brought me, because it's set to go via the eco route, it brought me through Shrewsbury, and I mean through Shrewsbury, not around it, through it, running through the middle, and then through Llangollen, and I'm now on the A5, floating serenely, relatively serenely. This car isn't as blissfully quiet as you might imagine a Lexus can be, but it's not bad at all. I'm in eco mode, by the way. I've been experimenting with the 3 modes. Driving it in sport definitely gives you a bit more oomph. I caught a couple of people unawares coming out of roundabouts. And because I'm now in slow moving traffic with a lot of up and down hill, I just put it in eco mode. Just let it harvest as much energy as it wants as it goes downhill, and I can't go up the hill any quicker than the car in front of me, so might as well stay in eco mode. I think there should be another mode as well, apart from sport, eco and normal. I think there should be a dynamic mode that switches between all 3 depending on how you're driving. I don't know if such a thing is possible, or whether normal mode is simply a compromise between both of those, but it would make sense. Also, that lane departure thing that I couldn't get working before, I don't know what buttons I've pressed, but it's sort of working now. If I go over a white line or a broken white line, let's see if I can trigger it here we go. You get a pulse on the steering wheel, that tells you that you've done that. Let's try it here. No, it's actually riding on the cat's eyes, so I won't do that. So I don't know what mode I was in before. It doesn't assist the steering, it doesn't move you off that line, but what it does is just tell you that you're straying from your lane. So it's not a steering assist, but it's a warning system. Also, this car, unlike any other car I've driven for a while, is prone to tram lining. If you find any bitumen joins in the road surface, this car likes to track along them. It gets well caught up in them. I don't remember noticing that on any car recently. Don't know what that's down to. Why do cars tram line? Is it because of the width of their tyres? Why do they? Is it something about the tread on the tyre which gets caught in the bitumen seal? I don't know. But yeah, I'm liking the Lexus. Yeah, I like a Lexus. I've driven, well, it's not really a Lexus, it's a Toyota, but in some markets it was badged a Lexus. This car, by the way, the IS300, used to be the Toyota Altezza when it first came out in Japan, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. And now I think even Japan sells Lexus as opposed to just Toyotas. And my car, the Toyota Sora, of course, was sold as a Lexus SC300 or SC400 if you had the V8, if you bought it in California, but in other markets, in Japan, it was a Toyota and it wasn't sold in Britain. But you know all this, you're a car nut. Why am I telling you this? You listen to Gareth Jones on Speed. Those are the sort of things you know about. Sorry. As I explained on the programme, which in my life was yesterday, the reason I've come up to North Wales is to take part in a big charity event that my mate Mike Peters from The Alarm organises. He's got a charitable organisation called Love, Hope, Strength, which works with cancer foundations, and every year, I'm panting because I'm walking uphill, every year organises a charity walk, usually up Snowdon, but this year through Snowdonia. He stops and plays a couple of gigs on the way, and in the evening there's a huge gig. This year it's at Zip World in Snowdonia, and apart from Mike playing and lots of other bands, the headline act is Slade. So as you know, I'm excited. And I wish you could see where we are now. It's just beautiful. I'm in the middle of a glorious glacial valley in Snowdonia in North Wales, a million miles away from that dreadful traffic that I was in yesterday. Brilliant sunshine with something like 500 people, and my old mate Mike Peters.
Hello, Gareth.
How are you, man?
How you go for the walk? All good?
Glorious. I mean, I like walking Snowdon with you, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
I like it.
do, but this
is just easy, isn't it?
it's still as spectacular, and I think what I'm liking about it today, it keeps our group together, because on the mountainside there's all kinds of people up there, isn't there? And this is just special, got a special atmosphere. It is great.
Yeah, we were kind of queuing to walk up with the last two, weren't we?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
How many we got here today? What, 500?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I think we're just over 500 hikers, and then we're going to have over 1,000, 1,500 people at the gig tonight for Slade, which we can't wait for.
You and me both. You and me both, yeah.
Got our boots on, ready to go.
I have a very special pair of boots for tonight.
Oh, excellent.
Well, listen, we've been mates 40 years, 39 years, something like that. And
we have to deny that now because it gives our age away. How long we know each other. I only met him last year on Snowdon.
But I thought I should get you on Gareth Jones on Speed. You've been on pretty much every other programme I've ever done.
It's an honour to be on Gareth Jones on Speed.
Oh, stop it, mate. I want to talk to you about the cars you've driven. You got 5 minutes while we're walking?
Of course we have, yeah, absolutely.
The first car I remember you driving was your Simca 1000.
There was a Simca 1000.
Was that your mum's car?
No, to be honest.
It's yours?
We bought it, me and my brother bought it second hand through the journal,
Real Journal.
Classifieds. Where it came from, I don't think I've ever seen another one since.
They're very rare. We should have kept that. It'd be worth something now.
The interior was almost like a London taxi. It was great for putting bass amps in and guitars.
How did we do that? We used to cram 4 or 5 in it and equipment.
Yeah, and it had that gear stick that went right down to the floor.
Long stick.
It was really a weird car. Purple, I seem to remember it being as well.
It was, yeah, some maroon purple.
Yeah. Colour. I had a Ford Cortina before that. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't know.
My granddad left me a Mark II Ford Cortina because he got too old to drive, and he always said he'd give me the car when he hung up his gear stick and all that. And so he gave me this Ford Cortina, and it was a brilliant car. It had the bench seats in, and we used to drive it to Liverpool. I didn't have a driving licence. But I was in L plates, and I had a mate, John Socks, who gets mentioned in the Spirit of 76.
I know Socks,
he could drive, but didn't like driving, so he'd sat in the passenger seat, and we'd go to Liverpool to Eric's with all the punks, and we'd come on with like 11 people, with 3 in the boot, 5 on the back seat, all just crammed into this mad Ford Cortina, which I loved.
You passed your test in real, what year, 78 or something?
77 I passed my 77. Test, yeah.
And after the Simca, we moved to London, in 80, 81?
The Mini Moke.
Oh, God.
Remember those?
It was a Scamp. It wasn't actually a Moke.
Scamp.
It was a mini Scamp, which was sort of a knock-off version. What was the name of the chap who used to own the place where we used to rehearse, who owned that car?
It was in Battersea, T-shirt factory.
And I used to drive...
I begin with V, but I can't remember.
But I used to drive that car around Battersea, and I didn't have a licence.
Yeah, right, OK.
Don't say that.
Well, we referred to them as Mini Mokes because we obviously grew up on the Prisoner generation the TV show, and we saw the Mini Mokes, and I didn't realise it was called a Scamp. It was white, but it used to get so many looks when we were bombing it around the King's Road and over Battersea Bridge.
No roof, no doors.
Good for getting gear in as well.
Which is the first prerequisite of any vehicle.
Car for a musician. Can you get the guitars and the amps in the back?
So in our early rock and roll years, when we lived in London, you didn't own a car, but we had vans. We used to rent vans, transits.
It was all your basic Ford Transit sort of stuff. Before that was the Commer vans.
Oh,
with
yeah,
the sort of,
yeah.
with what bands used to drive around in. You know, there's all the famous stories of the Beatles having a Commer van, and they had one bench seat in the back, and they used to lie like a sandwich in the back to keep warm, and whoever got the bottom, they drew the short straw. You know, it's probably Ringo.
Well, I remember when we had the Transit, we used to have a set of airline seats in the back of the van from a VC10.
Yeah.
We
bought
more
them off a guy called Mogger in Rill. There was a band from Rill called The Resistance.
Yes.
Their claim to fame was play the US Army camps in Germany on the touring circuit, and they had the aircraft seats, but they became famous because they got in the news of the world that a gig was so hot they played in the nude, and there was a photograph with their guitars hiding their privates. And that was their only claim to fame, and they were a bit of a show band around North Wales area, and they really taught us the ropes of how to tour. And so they said, well, you've got to get one of these transit vans with nothing in it, but you get these airline seats. And we bought a set of 3.
They weren't nailed down or anything. They would have been illegal these days, just sitting there.
You just had to prop the amps up behind them, you know, and then hope for the best.
Yeah.
And if there was too many of you, someone had to get sort of wedged in on the back, you know, on the top of an amp.
I always remember wherever we went in the world, even if it was the first time we'd been there, you seemed to know where we were going. You have this unbelievable sense of direction. Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. It's just an intuitive thing. I'm sure lots of people have got it, but I don't know, maybe
you know the way
good at betting on the left or the right turns.
You know the way pigeons have a bit of gravel in their throat, and it's sensitive to magnetic field, and that helps them find direction.
I've got a gravelly throat.
There you go. You got there before me.
Noddy's got one as well.
You've just got a new car, so you've got a very interesting Ford now.
A Ford Mustang, yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, I've always liked American cars.
I know.
Climbing in the mountains, I got to know Billy Duffy from the Cult really well, and we used to come climbing, and he came to visit me, and he had a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Yeah.
It was Mark II, you know, with a sort of softer shape than the classic.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, I'd really like to get one of them. And I fell in love. I got myself a Jeep, and I've stuck with that mark for a long time, and I've had Commanders, I've got the Jeep Grand Cherokee, I've stuck with the Wrangler, I've got a white Wrangler as well. And last summer we were in America, and it was my wife's 50th birthday, and me and the boys, we cooked up a special surprise, and we bought a cheap pair of roller skates to go roller skating, and we said to go, come on down the Santa Monica border, happy birthday, here's your roller skates. She was thinking, well, it's a bit duff for my 50th, you know, some roller skates. I said, oh yeah, we've just got to go for a meeting with our American management down Santa Monica. We can't have a meeting today, yeah, well, it's very important we have a meeting. And she was kind of getting grumpy with me, and we walked along, and I rented a car through Two Row, this new way of renting cars. It's like Airbnb for cars, and I'd rented a Ford Mustang, and it was a white one with black stripes, convertible, and as Jules turned the corner, I had the car ready to go and took her on a surprise up to Malibu Beach and everything. We had a fantastic day out, and we just fell in love with the Mustang there and then, so I thought, I've got to get one, and now we have one.
It can happen where you rent a car or see a car abroad, and that's the car that you desire. You've still got it's not a Commander. What's the other one you've got? The big Jeep?
I've got the Jeep Commander, a silver Jeep Commander, which you've seen today, but I've also got a white Jeep Wrangler that was slightly customised. It's from Khan from Leeds.
It's a Project Khan.
Project Khan, yeah, absolutely. So
cool. It's a cool car.
I love that car to bits.
We've got to let the support vehicle go by, I think, haven't we? No, he's got to stay behind. Okay, right, fair enough.
Well, we're on a car show, so why not?
Exactly.
Let's have the motor running.
See, your Commander is essentially because you can get practically an entire back line in the boot of that car.
Yeah, and we bought it when we had kids as well. We've got 2 boys. It's a 7-seater, and we thought we'd get the in-laws in it and everything, and we can get the back line. It's just run and run. We've had it as long as we've had kids, so it's been part of the family. And I haven't found anything to replace it for me personally, because I think the Commanders weren't that popular in the UK.
Yeah.
I think they were too big, because it's never really been replaced in the line. To me, it's never dated. It still looks like a modern car.
It's the current version, the most recent version.
That's it, exactly.
And you've got a bit of a penchant for open-top cars as well. I can think of 2 other cars you've owned over the years without roofs. You had an MX-5.
You did. You're absolutely correct.
And you had a Suzuki SJ310.
Oh, yeah, I had the Suzuki Jeep. That was before I fell in love with the American Jeeps.
Yeah.
And I had a yellow SJ410, was
410,
it?
I can't remember. Why did you buy that?
To be honest, I came home from a tour and I wanted a car. and I saw a guy that I used to work with at Quick Save Discount was selling it. And I thought, wow, that looks amazing. I don't know, I've always liked something different in a car.
Yeah.
Never been one for the mass-produced cars, in a way.
Yeah.
And I've always just liked to have something a little bit different, and the Jeep really stood out to me. And it wasn't expensive. I thought, wow. But I wasn't bothered about speed or hammering down the motor. I just wanted something to look good. And I met my wife having a SJ410. When I met my wife, Jules, the first date I took her out in a Suzuki SJ410, which she thought was dead cool, and jumped her in. I remember driving through Melodon, actually, and had a cassette in the car. It was a cassette tape. Modern technology. And I was playing The Clash. And Jules looked over at me and goes, she said, it's a bit of a pose, isn't it, playing your own band while you're taking a girl on the date? I said, that's not the Alarm, that's The Clash. And I thought, this is the girl for me.
There's a great truth in that.
It is, absolutely.
So given an unlimited budget, I know you're happy with the Mustang. Do you have a dream car?
I do, actually, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, I'm a bit of a James Bond fan, as you will know.
Yes.
My Ibiza trips and tour buses and watching films. And so I've always loved an Aston Martin.
Right.
One day I will have an Aston Martin.
All right, we'll have to get you down. You know, Aston Martin have just set up a manufacturing facility in Wales, in St Athan, in South Wales.
Amazing, yeah.
And you know, underneath the bonnet of Aston Martins, there's a British flag, and it says hand-built in England by Aston Martin.
Ooh.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Under those cars, they'll have a Welsh flag, and it says hand-built in Wales by Aston Martin.
So they should.
I'll get you an introduction to
That's
them.
amazing. I love the classic James Bond DB5.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, they're iconic. I've heard they're making them again, haven't they?
They did do they do what are they called, heritage runs, where they basically buy up old chassis and use that chassis number but rebuild the car from scratch.
Okay, wow.
And yeah, they're unbelievable amounts of money.
That's why it's still my dream car.
Mike, mate, what a pleasure to walk through our country with you.
Fantastic to walk through the history of my cars. I wasn't expecting to do that today.
Well, good. Surprises.
Some great memories.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
I loved that Simca because you drove the pants off that car.
I don't even know what happened to it in the end. I think it might have just given it away to my brother. It never let me down.
No, it never let us down. We covered tens of thousands of miles in that car,
we
probably.
Certainly did. It was a great vehicle. I've never seen one since, I don't think.
They're really rare now. You see them in France, but not in the UK.
Right. Is it a French car, is it?
Yeah, Simca, yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Right.
I thought it was some Russian kind of thing.
It could be, couldn't it?
We were in Berlin playing a show this weekend. We saw the Trabants, from East.
They're still
they
going.
look great as well, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a sort of lineage to the Simca from the Trabant.
Minimum automobile, but the Simca was made out of steel, the Trabant was made out of cardboard. It really was. It really was.
Listen, I'll let you... car than you too.
I'll let you catch up with the rest of the 500. Mike, thanks, man.
Thank you.
I'll see you this evening for the show.
Thank you.
There you go, rock stars and their cars, a new semi-regular feature on Gareth Jones on Speed.
Gareth Jones on Speed.
Hello again, it's now Monday, 2 days after that conversation I had with Mike Peters and that fantastic walk through a glorious part of North Wales, and an extraordinary gig at the end of the evening that you know that I was up there to MC, the headline act being Slade. Now, I've never seen Slade since Noddy left in 1992, I think it was, because, Nod's a very big part of Slade, as is Jimmy Lee, my hero in the band, the bass player, so I could never bring myself to go and see the band without two of the essential members. But you know what? They were amazing. They really, really were. Despite the fact that Nod and Jim aren't in the band anymore, they were tremendous. A little slower than I remember Slade. The members of the band are in their 70s now and will play just that little bit more slowly, just as you and I walk that little bit more slowly than we did when we were 20-year-olds. Inevitable. But actually it was great, and it really suited the slow songs. My Oh My, Every Day, which I broke my heart in, by the way. After I introduced Slade on stage, I went down the front, cried my eyes out when they played Every Day. Brilliant. But This is a show about Slade, as much as I'd like it to be. This is a show about cars. And I've lived with the IS300H F Sport now for a few days and come to know it. And I do rather like it, but I do have a couple of provisos about the car, which I'm slightly surprised about, I have to say. The first one is a fairly major one. I find it a bit difficult to predict how it's going to cope with a curb on the left, this car. If you've got a left-hand bend in the road and a curb, this car seems to head towards the apex, no matter how much of a wide berth you give it. And as I was driving up to Bethesda on Friday, I clipped the curb twice on a left-hand bend. Twice! It's not something I normally do. If you're ever going to clip the curb with big alloys, it's usually at parking speeds, isn't it? When you're parking and grinding. But I did this at good A road pace as I was approaching my destination. And I've got a theory. I think it's something to do with the lane assist, which may have been engaged and somehow messes up the line of the car. Either that, or it's something to do with the hybrid system cutting in and out, shifting from electric motor to IC, or a combination of both, that subtly changes the line and causes the car to be just that little bit unpredictable occasionally on its line. You know, it wanders ever so slightly. There is another theory, and it's down to Lexus's USP, I suppose. Lexus's USP is that they are quiet, really silky quiet. And that means if you're in a very refined car, you end up travelling a little more quickly than you think you're travelling, because the refinement removes all that noise, and you don't realise just how quick you're going. It's happened a number of times on this journey where I've been blasting down the road and I've looked down and thought, oh gosh, I'm over the speed limit of the bit of circuit, the bit of road that I'm on at the moment. I better slow down. So I've got this theory that it's possible that whole strange tracking thing was down to the fact that I was actually going a lot faster than I realised. And even though it's the F Sport version, it's still set up for luxury. It's still quite a floaty car. It manages pitch really well. It doesn't manage roll quite as well. It doesn't slew around corners, but it does jostle just a little bit, wiggle and waggle as you do a hard left or a hard right. So I think you end up travelling faster than you think you are, and therefore it's probably slightly less under control than you think you are. So it's not a driver's car, but I don't suppose there are many Lexuses or Lexi, without being Alan Partridge, that are driver's cars, with the possible exception of the LFA, of course, and a couple of others. Yeah, it's a bit of a cruiser really, and a very smooth and quiet cruiser it is. You know, that journey that I made up to North Wales was 9 hours because of problems on the M1. And there aren't many cars I would have enjoyed the journey in as much as I did as this. I got out at the other end and I didn't feel stiff or weary or tired. And that's one of the benefits of Lexus's USP, that airiness, that silky smoothness. Actually, I've been experimenting with the, what do they call it? Lane departure warning, lane assist. And I find the car's much better without it, because when you do activate it, it's a bit late responding. It takes you right up to the line, then suddenly steers away it doesn't keep a central position in the lane like lots of other cars have the ability to do these days, like that nice Volvo or even the Hyundais that I've driven recently. No, it goes right up to the line, then wiggles you away. So if you were to take your hands off the steering wheel and roll down the road around a motorway, it will slalom down the lane, swinging from one extremity to the other. It doesn't keep a central position, and that's not really what you want from modern day semi-autonomy. And do you really need lane warning departure? Not unless you're very, very tired, which in a Lexus, being so smooth, you don't really get tired, so why do you need it? So yeah, that's one of the disappointments on this car, the lane departure thing. The other one is, I really wish there was one simple, obvious button to turn off the nav instructions. There probably is, and I can't find it. And that's just as bad as there not being one. So if there isn't one, Lexus, please fit one. And if there is one, please, Lexus, make it a little more obvious. Is it a performance car? Yes, it is. Combination of that 2.5 litre petrol engine and the electric motor really does make this thing hurtle along, which is why you end up going a little more quickly than you realise you're going. Yeah, plenty of performance. Wish the handling matched that. It's close, but it's not quite right. The hybrid drive seems to work rather well in terms of economy, because I drove all the way to North Wales and 50% of the way back, some 380 miles, on 3/4 of a tank. This car, over the time I've been using it, which included some stop-start stuff on the motorway, some reasonable motorway stuff, some slow A roads and some very fast A roads, and like I say, you end up driving a lot more quickly than you realise in this car. Over that period, it's averaged 36 miles to the gallon. Not sensational, but with performance like this, that's acceptable, I think. 36 miles to the gallon, yeah, definitely. It's funny, there are a lot of similarities between how I feel about Lexus and how I feel about Slade. I've been a Slade fan since I was, 11 years old? 1972? Possibly even 10 years old, 1971. And I've been a Lexus fan since I saw the SC400 in California and bought my Sora as a result. So you go way back for that. And some say Lexus have lost their way. When they first appeared, they were absolute challengers for Mercedes and BMW and offered pretty much all the things they did, even better, more reliable. But then they sort of went their own way, became a hybrid, became a bit floaty, and may have lost their way. And some people think Slade may have lost their way without Noddy Holder and Jimmy Lee. But I'm happy to report that Slade haven't lost their way. They've found a more suitable niche for the men of their age. That's perfectly fine. And Lexus has found its niche, as well as making all those huge 4x4s or crossovers that they make now. They still make really good, very refined cars that look great. And I think the IS300 is one of the better looking of the Lexus range at the moment, because that spindle grille, it's a lot, it's an awful lot, isn't it? It actually looks really good. They've toned it down, I think, on the IS300, and that's not a bad thing. So all in all, thumbs up for Lexus, and I would say thumbs up for Slade, but that's not what you do as a Slade fan. If you're a Slade fan and you know the album Slade, S-L-A-Y-E-D, as in I've been Slade, you'll see Slade holding their hands out with their thumb to the side with the word Slade written on the 5 digits on your hand. And so I shall give Lexus, particularly this IS300, that same dignified, honoured salute of thumb out to the side. Yeah, come on, don't feel the noise. Because most of the time there isn't any. Look, I'm doing 60 miles per hour on the M6 and I'm whispering. This has been Gareth Jones on Speed with a slightly husky voice, not from driving a Lexus, but from singing Slade songs very loud. See ya.
To send us an email, see pictures, get song lyrics, join our Facebook fan site, follow us on Twitter, or to find out about sponsorship opportunities, go to garethjones.tv. Gareth Jones on Speed is made in London by Whiz Bang.
Gareth Jones on Speed!